Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Fearless Floyd Show. As always, I am your host, Fearless Floyd. And as you see, I don't have a black backdrop, do I? Well, I'm at another place. So that's why. Oh, hang on. I got to send Stephen a new link. Yep. All right. Got that taken care of. So anyway, Stephen contacted me last week. He said, "Hey, man, let's do a show." I'm like, "I'm moving, but okay." And it's like, pick a date. And he picked Friday. I was like, oh, the 13th. So here we are. I have moved. So, I had a big ass house, 3-story house, 4-bedroom, fully loaded, all the bells and whistles. And had to downsize considerably. So it's taken me about a week, 12, 14-hour days. You can already hear my voice. I'm toast. And all the big heavy stuff was today, sadly. And I still have to unpack and then sort and repack and put everything up. So it's going to be a fun adventure. But I'm really grateful from where I'm at and that I've had an opportunity to, be where I'm at. I was out here this morning before I took off on my journeys and got to see a cardinal, a woodpecker, and a dove just sitting right here. And it's pretty cool hearing nature and enjoying it. So there's no HOA where I'm at, and that means I get to have ducks and chickens, which means I get ducks and chicken eggs. So I'm going to go hit my cousin up and get a couple of her ducks and start my little flock here and get some chickens and do the same. And that'll be the first stepping stone towards living self-sustainably off grid and being able to barter with a new commodity. So I don't do very many shows anymore. I've just been busy and just haven't had the wherewithal to do them, especially since my roommate passed away. That kind of put a damper on everything. But hopefully we can, this will be like a little rejuvenation for me, and I'll have a studio set up for you guys, and maybe we'll do some nice productions. We'll see how all that turns out. I said I was going to do a studio with Juan, my buddy, the director. So we'll see where that goes. I'm interested. But remember, my main goal, 2026, to be off-grid on a self-sustainable property, either developing it or living, one or the other. That's the goal. My guest tonight is Stephen Gladstone. You may or may not have heard of him. He's huge over on Facebook. He's just blowing up. He's doing better numbers than I am, and thank God for that. It's always good to see somebody else succeed and gain an audience and bring more awareness to the world of exactly what's really transpiring. I try to talk to people like I was talking to Juan's son, earlier. It's like, I don't care what these people are doing. I'm like, well, that's kind of what sets the agenda of how your life's going to live. So we have to be aware of what reality is, who's doing what, who's pulling the strings, who's the puppeteer, who's the master, and so on. And Steve's bringing a lot of that to light, and thank God for that. You know, I don't know how successful he was in his music career, but obviously he was successful enough to operate with some pretty powerful people. And when you're in that industry, you see a lot of things that probably wish you hadn't saw. So he's been on my show before. I'm always very welcome to have him back and grateful as well. And with that, let me bring on the numbers man. He's going to tell you secret societies by the numbers. Stephen Gladstone. How you doing, my brother?
I'm awesome, man. Good to see you again. I've been wanting to be back on your show. Sorry about your roommate. I don't know if that just happened or whatever. I have something pretty cool I want to show you guys.
Okay.
So if you guys look at all the refraction of light happening, that's a crystal I got in Austria at Swarovski. But that's what you can't see, people. And those are the demons that are all around you, and they're in a different light frequency that we can't see. But if you guys know the Dr. Kilner's experiments, he made the Dicinian goggles out of that coal tar. It was blue, like this blue dye. And when you put these goggles on, it blocks out the white light, and then you can see all the different light frequencies. And you could see people's auras and see people, demons and things. And they made similar goggles for the nighttime pilots in Vietnam. And the helicopter pilots are all like shooting at each other and shit because they're all seeing these different demons. So, that's what we're dealing with here is we're dealing with demons. Obviously, the good news now is that the Epstein files came out. And so everything that we've been talking about for years and we've been called conspiracy theorists and crazy people for is now we have proof from the Department of Justice. These people, they drink blood, they interact with demons, they do satanic rituals. So Hillary Clinton cuts the face off of children and puts it on her face to terrorize them, to get the adrenochrome going. And so now we don't look so crazy anymore. And this is a golden opportunity for us to take down the occult. And the occult is the Freemasons, people. It's nobody else. It's not the Jews. It's not the Jesuits. It's not the Illuminati. It's the Freemasons, period. You take out the Freemasons and you will save the world. And so right now we have the Full Disclosure Act. I started this about 6 months ago. I was just checking on where we're at, 4,000. Hold on, let's check.
You're killing it. I know that.
14,197 signatures, and people have donated over $9,000 to promote it on change.org. My videos regularly, I get anywhere from, I don't know, today's a slow video, maybe 30,000. The last couple of weeks, I've been getting 100,000, 300,000, 500,000 million views. So people are
good for you, man. Good for you.
People have had it, with these secret societies, and our whole goal is to just focus on one thing, and that's the Freemasons. And basically, the purpose of the Full Disclosure Act is very simple. We have the government ethics organization, ethics laws in the United States. There's actually a government ethics agency, and that says that if there's a conflict of interest and you work, if you're a politician or a policeman and you have to disclose your conflicts of interest. And up till now, I think that was passed in 1978. Up till now, it's mostly just a financial conflict of interest. And so we're arguing that if you pay dues to a secret society, which all Freemasons pay dues, that's a financial conflict of interest. And that these people have to disclose. And then the other good news is if you've been following along in Great Britain, the Metropolitan Police now have to disclose whether they're Freemasons. And so that final decision by the High Court came it came in February 6th or something, but on February 17th, the Freemasons filed that they're not going to file an appeal. So now that's like real stuff. It's really happening. The Freemasons in Great Britain in the Metropolitan Police now have to disclose. The interesting thing, though, to know is the Fraternal Order of Police and the Freemason police in the Met. All police officers, 100%, are in the occult. 100%. 100% of sheriffs, 100% of judges, 100% of attorneys, 100% of politicians. And that's the thing I'm really trying to get across. And about 80% of the people are in secret societies. My entire family, every girlfriend I've had, my ex-wife, all of them. They don't necessarily have to wear the stupid apron to be in a secret society. A lot of people are in the cult of Baal. And one thing, the video I posted today, which I just dawned on me yesterday. So if you guys noticed that Trump was trying to say that we didn't hit that children's school in Iran with a Tomahawk missile. And then yesterday, the Department of Defense came out and said, "Oh yeah, that was our Tomahawk missile." That was not by accident, people. What that was, the first day of the war, that was a child sacrifice to Moloch to start the war, because that's how these people operate. Just like, you know, they take if you go online and search Moloch child sacrifice, you'll see they have this big, you know, iron statue of Moloch, and they put a fire under it. You can see the fire going out in these old drawings. And then they take the baby on Christmas, on winter solstice, and they set it on that sizzling, red hot statue of Moloch, and they sacrifice the child so that they have a successful new year, a successful new season.
Isn't that what they do at Bohemian Grove?
Yeah, and so they do it with the owl. Owl equals 14. So the owl of Moloch is what they call it. It's called the cremation of care, which is exactly what it is. Cremation of care is that they don't care about you, and they are. And so I was thinking about that missile, and that's exactly what that was. They sacrificed 180 children on the first day of the war, because that's what they do: child sacrifice so that they have a successful war. And so the one thing I've really been thinking about is that, you know, the whole thing about the devil, and we've heard this before, is that he doesn't exist, right? And the whole thing about secret societies is that they don't exist, right? And that's what we've been criticized for, being conspiracy theorists or tinfoil hat or take your meds or whatever it is. So now this is the opportunity, people, to focus on the secret societies. They do exist. We have the Epstein files. Everybody's pissed off at Israel. You know, it's a synagogue of Satan. And what people just don't realize is that the courts themselves, the courts are designed to eliminate you if you're not in the occult. That's what courts are designed to do. That's why none of us can win a civil rights lawsuit. I've had 20 cases in the past 3 years, and these courts, the judges just make shit up. I mean, they literally, when you out lawyer them, they just literally make shit up, which is something I want to talk to you about tonight, Scotty, is that we're this close on these bonds. I got a guy, Ryan, I met, super smart. And he's got his QSIPs he tracked down. I know that is your video still online that we can watch it? You did a video of all the QSIPs that you tracked down on your bonds that were tied to your. So I'm thinking that this is it. This is what we got to track down. And so I got a couple guys that claim that they can get QSIPs on my cases. And then what I want to do is, once I get those QSIPs, is verify them with my bond desk, because I'm a registered, you know, stockbroker. And so before I go to the courts for fraud, but apparently, and this guy was just at my house last week, what he did was he got the Colorado Judicial System's EIN number, and he filed the 1099s for the court, and then he filed the motion to correct the 1099s with the IRS. And what he's claiming is that that there are, you know, white hats in the IRS. I don't particularly believe it, but he's claiming there are, and that they will go after these judges for the tax money. And so I think that's something that you tried to do before, right? You tracked down all your bonds and stuff.
I've done everything except chase the QSIP down.
So how much
bonds, rescission of signature, man, you name it, I've done it. It's all my public record. I got a mini bike on this next row. That's why I keep muting my mic. I don't know if you can hear it in the background.
It sounds like a big growling tiger.
They're riding a bike over here.
Yeah. So anyways, guys, you know, we're on the hunt for these bonds, these court bonds. If anybody you know, or any of your friends, or anybody listening, has somebody that work at it. I used to manage a Smith Barney office for Citigroup, and we actually had the Bloomberg terminal right there in our office. And now I understand all those guys at the big brokerage firms, they actually have the Bloomberg on their own personal computers. And so if we can get somebody that has full Bloomberg access to start tracking these bonds down, That's the way we take these judges out, because they're committing tax fraud, identity theft, securities fraud. And apparently, we'll find out. I saw Ron, he was here, and he showed me, he filed his corrected 1099s, and they were accepted by the IRS. And then I talked to him a few days ago, and he said, yeah, they've been accepted. I saw that they were accepted. And so we'll see what happens with what he's trying to do, which is correct the 1099s, claim that he's the creditor and not the debtor, and that the court is the debtor and not the creditor. So what the courts are doing are writing bonds as though you're the payee of the bond, right? When it's the vice versa. They're the ones but creating the bonds, which is security fraud. And we all know they exist, but it's a matter of proving it. And we're this close. So if I know you were working on that, and is your movie still on fearlessfloyd.com? Because I know you played a little bit of it last time I was on that showed your bonds and things like that.
They're all still on there. Rumble, YouTube. Yeah. I mean, I'd send you direct links if you want.
Yeah, send me the links, because we're this close to tracking this bond thing down. And what he was saying, what the courts do is that they immediately cancel your case and write you a check for 10%. Is what he says the courts do, because they don't want to go down. The other thing too is, and I asked for it in my cases, was I asked for the auditing of my court cases, and he denied the motion. But he said that that's 25 years in prison if they deny the accounting of your court case. So, what it is the judges are the high priests of our society, people. They are the executioners. They wear the Saturn robe, the black robe. Black robe is 33, black is 11, robe is 22, so it's 33. And Saturn black, because Saturn has the the pentagram in it, right? The pentagon, which is 41, which is 5. So when I talk about these numbers on your show here, it's just ABC equals 1, 2, 3. Michael Jackson told us, 20 years ago, ABC, easy as 1, 2, 3, ABC. And so I cracked their number language. And one thing I want to talk about too. So this war, you remember all the kids were doing 6-7 last year, 6-7, 6-7. Have you heard of that? And actually, the kids are going 6-7, 6-7, 6-7. And then dictionary.com last year made it the word of the year. 6-7 was the word of the year last year.
Really?
And so, and I was telling people, hey man, the occult's getting ready to do something. That's occult signaling. 6-7 is actually 13. And 13 is M, which is the 13th letter of the alphabet, but you flip it upside down, and it's 23rd letter of the alphabet, W, and that's 5, right? Everything goes to 5, which is the Freemason compass and square. The Freemason compass makes the curve of the 5, and the square makes the square of the 5. But also, compass and square, compass equals 23, square equals 27. So 23 and 27 is 50, which again is 5. So not only does the compass and square make the 5, but compass and square add up to 5. And that means like war, chaos, destruction, imbalance, the Hegelian dialectic, like when they do the horns, that's two down, 3 up, or three down. But horns equals 29 because 29 equals 86. Tomahawk missile, tomahawk equals 29, which is 86. Eye of Providence equals 86. And if you've ever worked in the restaurant, you've heard the term to 86 the chicken off the menu or whatever. So right. and 86 is what? It's 8 plus 6 is 14, and 1 plus 4 again is fucking 5, right? It's always going to come back to 5. But what was interesting is the American side of this war is called epic fury. And guess what? Epic equals 24, which is 6, and fury equals 25, which is 7. Epic fury is 6-7. So just as I was telling everybody last year that the occult's getting ready to do something with this 6-7 thing, sure enough, the war breaks out. It's called epic fury, and that adds up to 6-7. And then on the flip side of it, Israel's side of it is called Operation Roaring Lion, right? So lion equals 23, which is 5. So it's Operation Roaring Freemasons. But Operation Roaring Lion equals 119. And 119 equals 95, which is square and compass. But 119 is also the Fraternal Order of Police equals 119. And the 5 points of fellowship. That's that fucking faggot handshake the Freemasons do. That equals 119. And 119, right, is 9/11 backwards, which is on all the police cars. And we all know that 9/11 happened on, 9/11/2001. 9/11/2001 equals 14, which again is 5. And so in real numerology, 9/11 means to end, and 2 means is awake, which 11 equals 1 plus 1, which is 2, which is awake. Or, 9/11, anything added to 9 equals itself. So 9 plus 1 plus 4 equals 14, which is 5. Or 1 plus 4 equals 5. So in mathematics, this is called, it's not gematria, it's not numerology. It's Pythagorean numerology is what I'm teaching you. And so anything added to 9 equals itself. So in mathematics or in Pythagorean numerology, 9 is irrelevant or irregular or irreverent, right? And so that's why I is the 9th letter of the alphabet and R is the 18th letter of the alphabet. 1 plus 8 is 9. So in 9, when you look at Pythagorean numerology, you can literally just throw the 9 out. So 9 is really 11, and 11 is not 11. It's in the way secret society talks, it's 1, 1. Why? Because 1 equals 16. So 1 plus 1 is 16, which is 32, like a 32-degree Mason, which again is 5. So
how do they get 1 that equals 16? Where did that do that?
1. So 1 is O-N-E, right? So O is 6. It's the 15th letter of the alphabet. N is the 14th letter of the alphabet, which is 5. And then E is the 5th letter of the alphabet. So 1 is O-N-E, which is actually 6, 5, 5, which is 16. So that's why the Twin Towers were 110 stories, because 110 is really 11, which is 1, 1, which is 16, 16, which is 32, which is 5. It's so simple. And building 7, right, was how tall? 47 stories tall. 4 plus 7 is 11, which is 1, 1, which is 32, which is 5. The way I learned this language, guys, was in 2009, I got a child trafficking payment. It was my sister's friend, an attorney at Fox Television, and they were using this number language in the communications. And it was just so weird. This one salutation said, as of January 23rd. So as of January 23rd, I got it like late February. And I'm like, man, that's weird, And then I had these numerology books, just these old, a bunch of old. My grandma's an Eastern Star, and when she died, I got these books, all these numerology and just 5 and dime numerology and astrology books, right? And so when I got that letter from the child traffickers, it was my client. I had these books since 2003. That was 2009. I fucking bolted to the basement, got these books, and just started reading all these old, 40s and 50s numerology books, and then I cracked their code. I cracked the Masonic code. So you know how Manly P. Hall said, when mankind learns the language of symbols, then a great veil will be lifted. And so symbols are just numbers, are just words. So triangle equals 41, which is 5, right? Eye of Providence, which is what this is. That's their Illuminati logo, Eye of Providence. I equals 8 or 17. Of is 12. And interesting enough, Providence is 57. So Eye of Providence is 86. But 57 is what? It's the Mason logo, right? It's the 5, and then 7 is G, right? So the Mason logo really is just 57, like Heinz 57, but it's not 57. It's just 5, 7. And why is that? Because 5 equals 24 and 7 equals 20. So 57 is really 44, which is genocide. So genocide equals 4. There's nothing esoteric to anything I say. So genocide equals 44. You guys remember Trump during the COVID genocide? He was saying warp speed, warp speed. Warp is 22, speed is 22, which is 44, which is genocide. Pfizer is 44. If you guys remember Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift's boyfriend, who was Mr. Pfizer with the blue Band-Aid, remember? Travis Kelce equals 44. When Taylor Swift was on tour, she played 44 songs on her set. Coca-Cola is 44.
She played 44 songs on her set?
44 songs on her set list, yeah.
What?
And then, she always wears 13 too. Yeah, that's a big set list. So,
that's huge. Yeah. That's like 2 set lists.
Yeah. 44 songs on her set list. And it was just a big witchcraft festival.
Wow.
And then also, if you remember, the highest price paid for her ticket in Las Vegas was what? $95,000, which is square and compass. So it's all Taylor Swift's a witch. She always wears 13, which is M, which is W. And then also Taylor Allison Swift adds up to 76. So not 67, but 76. So Taylor Allison Swift equals 13, 76, which is 13, which is another reason why she loves 13 so much. But, she's a witch. And people claim that she might be the daughter. Yeah, the daughter of LeVay and his wife. She looks just like her.
Or a clone or twin, maybe, little sister. Yeah, they look eerily alike.
Well, I do know this. There's a thing in magic called the black, white, red, white, and white, right. And that's really what this is all about. Those are the different ways in which you...
Say that again?
It's called the black right, R-I-T-E, right? The red right, and white right. And that's the way that they soul transfer. And those 3 different ways of how... What this is really all about, you guys, is soul transfer. The Freemasons... soul transfer. So you hear in the Bible where it says, 1 soul leaves and 7 more come back in. I had a 6-year-old kid in Nashville tell me that when he was 5 years old, they got the whole family around the bed, right? This is the story of Wizard of Oz. They gave him some kind of narcotic. They pulled him out of his body. They introduced him to all his dead relatives, and then they put him back in. When that happens, then those relatives can come inside of him so that they're not in that hell frequency. They're hosted inside. And that's what these people are. They have multiple demons inside of them. And the secret is, in order to stay out of hell, they have to constantly transfer body to body. And the red right, white right, black right is like, it's not guaranteed. So what we are, me and you and Floyd and everybody listening here is a truther, is our souls are too powerful. And so a demon can't come into us. It's just not going to happen. But when a demon comes into these people, they have to kind of overpower them. But it's not an exact science. But with respect to the cloning, what they do, so let's say like Rockefeller is going to die. So he'll impregnate a young girl, and then right at the moment of death, he'll soul transfer into that baby, and he'll overtake that baby's soul. And then when he's born, he'll have teachers and educators that teach him everything he knew before. So that's how they live forever. They soul transfer. And so this is not about money or power or any of that. This is the reality is this as the awakening happening, and the awakening is happening. They're fucked. It is over for the Illuminati and the Freemasons, and they know it. And they won't be able to soul transfer anymore, and they'll be stuck in hell. And that's what they're fighting. That's why they don't care if they kill themselves or whatever they do. And that's why they torture the children. They need the adrenochrome. So when you die, that adrenochrome is what God puts in, to kick you back into the spirit world. And so it's the most addictive, most expensive drug on the earth, because any other drug, like heroin's a replicator, and then cocaine causes you to ditch all your endorphins and get high. But adrenaline is actually the dopamine and endorphins. It's not a drug that makes you high. It is the drug that your body makes that the other drugs, initiate or activate. But when
it doesn't kill your serotonin either.
Yeah. So when they take adrenochrome, they pop out of their bodies instantly. And that's how they can communicate with demons and all that stuff.
So this is the reason why, I was talking to Young Guns came on the other day, and I was telling somebody, oh yeah, that's the Jesse James version of the Brat Pack's version. But when the Brat Pack was real popular back in the heyday in the 80s and 90s, they were always getting busted for cocaine, ecstasy, heroin, all these different drugs. And now you don't see any celebrities getting popped for drugs.
No, because, if we think about it, the Illuminati took over, the Freemasons took over. They added 1,000 years to the calendar, right? So Rome is Tartaria, and if you've studied anything about Tartaria, they, about 300 years ago, the occult, they murdered everybody.
I never heard anybody say that before.
Yeah, so the Tartarian buildings, all these state capitals and stuff, you can go visit them. There, obviously Denver, Kansas City, Washington D.C., all the amazing churches that we couldn't even possibly build. Like if you watch the Olympics, right? They kept showing that church in Milan. It was just amazing,
Mm-hmm.
That was all built with 3D printing. That was all laser printing. The Tartarians had free energy, etheric energy, like Tesla talked about. All the buildings were sound frequencies. They used to have bells everywhere. The bells keep the frequency keys. They keep these demons away, is what the bells would do.
We need to bring the bells back.
Yeah, as soon as the Illuminati took over, the first thing they did was get rid of all the bells, because the bells make it difficult for the demons to do that. But we can radiate that frequency too. People just radiate it, radiate love, radiate the awakening. Just believe that you're God, even if you don't. Because I believe that we actually are God. I don't think God is outside of us. I think that I was out of my body once and I was everything. And it was actually semi-lonely, but I was still me, like my thoughts and my minds and my music.
Right.
But I was watching my body smoke a cigarette and talk to these guys, but I didn't hear a word my body said. I was like I was about 3,000 feet above Hollywood Boulevard, and I was like everything. And I talked to a Satan worshiper about that when I woke up in 2009. And he said, yeah, you were one with the oneness of God. He's like, we don't want to be that. We want to be independent demonic gods, demonic souls. We want to be independent demons. We don't want to be one with God. And so I believe that we are God and that we're responsible. I don't think anybody's coming in the clouds to save us. But I do believe it's the awakening. And if you do nothing else, just believe it. Just believe that the Illuminati's, Satan's kingdom's dividing and falling. They're being exposed, and they will tear themselves apart. We don't have to revolt against them. We don't have to do anything. All we have to do is expose them. And that's what the Full Disclosure Act is all about. It's not really about passing the Full Disclosure Act, right? It's just for harassing them. So like I went and spoke at the Colorado legislature about 3 weeks ago, and they're trying to pass some stupid law about equal parenting. And I knew they wouldn't pass it because there's too much money in the family courts to pass anything like that. So I just went in there, and after I told, I had my 2 minutes to talk, and then they asked me a question. I said, look, there's no point in passing any laws. I was holding this card right there. I'm like, there's no point in passing any laws until we get rid of these Freemason judges. I go, this is not a parenting problem. This is a secret society Freemason problem. Your courts are all Masonic, right? And most of you in here are Masonic, and so it's just something to be able to just go harass them with, right? So are they going to do anything? No, I've been there like 4 times now. They don't do shit, but you know what they do? They put their heads on their pillow, and they're like, oh fuck, But I will tell you something interesting. So they tortured my kid with Treetop. It's a police interrogation thing for children, and they won't give me the videotape. And so then the CLR, the child legal representative, she tried to get me arrested and put in prison for 6 months ago for three counts of strangling my child, which I never even put my kid in the corner. He and I were like best buddies. I've never gotten in an argument with my kid once in my whole life. So they took him away. I haven't seen him in 14 months. I'm not allowed to talk to him. They put him in address protection program. So he's in witness protection program. So if I even look for my kid, they will put me in prison for stalking. Right, because I cracked their code. They want me dead. So anyways, they did. I ordered an investigation on the CLR by the OCR and the OARC. The OCR overlooks the Office of Children's Representatives, and the OARC overlooks attorneys. And this child legal representative is an attorney, and so that's through the Colorado Supreme Court. So they did the investigation. And they talked to all these other doctors and people I wanted them to talk to. So then I just hit them up and I'm like, well, give me the investigation. And they're like, no, we're not going to give it to you. I'm like, what's the point of an oversight committee, and doing an investigation if you're not going to give me the fucking investigation? So lo and behold, I'm trying to use, because they tried to get me for criminal charges. I'm trying to use Brady versus Maryland, saying this is criminal evidence. You have to give it to me. Trying to use Freedom of Information Act, trying to use Colorado Opens Records. They won't give it to me. But that's not what's interesting. What's interesting is the two head guys at the Colorado Supreme Court. This is above the judges, man. These are the guys that run the oversight committee of the judges. They emailed each back and forth, and the one guy goes, "Oh my, have you seen the Full Disclosure Act?" And the other guy's like, "Yeah, I looked at it." So they know, man. They know it's coming. They know they're in violation of the ethics laws already. We have sunshine laws that we're supposed to be able to go to any public meeting. Freedom of Information Act. We're supposed to be able to get any information we want. And we also have obviously constitutional rights. And they just wipe their ass with it. Yeah. And what I'm trying to teach people is it's all fake from the start. America equals 32, which is 5. It's a constitution, like a con man. And con is what? It's 365. It's 9-5. It's Freemason, compass, and square. And then also, how many people signed the Constitution? 33, right? 33 signers. So what they did was, basically, when they destroyed Tartaria, they got rid of the kings and queens and all that stuff. And they put in fake freedom. So we live in basically a prison without walls right now. You have no constitutional rights. You have no freedom of speech. And if you do, then they'll try to. They tried to kill me so many times. I got put in jail, and I got the picture now. So I think I told you last time. I got this tooth put in 2016 by this dentist, Dr. Lozacco, in Georgetown. Georgetown equals 57. And then that was 2016. 2022, and they put me in jail. The fucking sheriff triggered this tooth, and my whole body got electrocuted from this tooth. And right then the nurse walked in, like, "Oh, are you feeling any pain or anything?" They were trying to put me in a dentist chair for accidental death. And so then when I got out of jail, like 12 days later, this whole thing got abscessed. And ever since, I've had to swish coconut oil every night. So I still have it in. So I just went and got my tooth fixed, this other tooth, a couple weeks ago. And I got the x-rays. And here, where the guy put the fake tooth in, he was supposed to put a tooth in. He didn't. He put in a cap, and then underneath the cap is a huge hole, right? And I'm talking to the new dentist, and I'm like, "Why is there a hole in my fucking tooth?" And you could see the guy kind of like he reacted. I said, "Yeah, that's how they tried to murder me, with that fucking tooth." So I have the tooth in here, and the hole is there. I can see the hole where what it is it's just a metallic reaction. So two metals get hit with right frequency, and then it'll send a shock into your nerve, right? And so I've heard about that before, and now I have the picture of the tooth. There's a fucking big old hole where whatever metal it was that he put in there that triggered that when I was in jail, that's where it was, in that hole. And when I was looking, I told that to the dentist, man, you could see the guy almost turned fucking pale white. They don't think I mean, I didn't know. But yeah, they kill you any which way they can. If they know that you're a child of God from when you're born, and that you have the light of God in you, and they try and kill you and destroy your whole life, your girlfriends, your wives, your brothers, your sisters. And that's the thing, I'm really trying to teach people is it's not just the Epsteins. It's not just the courts and the cops and all that. It's everybody, man. It's fucking everybody. Like 80% of people are in the occult. And, they all just did COVID together, right? All your friends and family, anybody who ever told you to get vaccinated is in the occult trying to kill you. Every single person who's ever told you to take a vaccine is in the occult trying to kill you. And it's probably your brother or your mom or your dad. Hey, puppy. So, the thing is, all we have to do is expose them, man. And we're getting, I get anywhere between 50 to 150 people a day that sign the Full Disclosure Act. And we have a chat every Wednesday, and this is the only thing we can do. We just have to expose them. And now that we have the Epstein list to verify that they are satanic, that they do satanic rituals, that they drink kids' blood, now we have it fact from the Department of Justice. So we're no longer conspiracy theorists anymore. All we have to do now is connect the Epstein stuff to the Freemasons and to all the occult in your life. Anybody that promoted COVID-19 is in the occult. That was just another genocide. And this new war is just a genocide, right? Because even Iran, you saw Iran burn the effigy of Baal, right? I don't know if you saw that. But they also had the obelisk there. Obelisk equals 28 because why? Because 2 equals 13 and 8 equals 31. So 28, which is tongue, equals 28. The apron equals 28. Obelisk equals 28. Israel equals 28 because 2 equals 13 and 8 equals 31. It's the inverse, 1331. But what is that? 13 equals 4, 31 equals 4, which again is genocide, right? So the Mason logo is 44, Coca-Cola is 44, Monopoly is 44, Fortnite, the biggest video game in the whole world, is 44, Minecraft is 44, military is 44, medicine's 44, MD, you go to a medical doctor, M is the 13th letter of the alphabet, which is 4, and D is the 4th letter of the alphabet. So an MD is 44. It's genocide. Sheriff equals 44. A sheriff's job is to kill anybody not in the occult. And so it's coming out, you know, and I cracked their code language, and I'm teaching it to lots of people, and they don't like me. So they took my kid, and they tortured my kid, and that's what they do. That's what family courts are. Family courts are designed because they don't want the child raised by a good person. They want the child raised in the occult. So that's why the abuser always gets the kid in court, because the judge is an abuser, right? The judge is the high priest of the satanic cult. That's what judges are. They're high priests of the satanic cult. And they always give the child to the abuser because they're abusers. You know, that's how they steal children. And it was, believe it or not, it was Hillary and Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton in 1992 signed the Adoption and Safe Families Act. And that really turbocharged Title 4D. So they're taking your Social Security money to pay the judges through Title 4D and E to steal children. So you pay for it out of your Social Security so the courts can steal children. And what they hope, they give it to the abuser, because also about the abuser is a higher chance that the child ends up getting in trouble. I think it's like 75% chance that child will end up in jail and get in trouble and on drugs. So it feeds the system forever with criminals.
Or become an abuser themselves.
Or become an abuser themselves. Or that abuser fucks up and then the child ends up in foster care, which is big money. And then from foster care, 75% of kids in foster care get trafficked. And then a lot of them fall through into satanic ritual abuse, where they get killed and their blood gets drunk, or their organs get sold. And so we pay for it with our Social Security money. And it's called Title 4D. And that's why family courts operate on discretion. They don't operate on constitutional due process. They operate on whatever the fuck the judge wants to do. And that's why they stole my kid. You have no due process. And then the irony is, if you appeal it, so I've had 20 cases, and so I have 3 cases in the District Court of Denver, and then I have 5 cases in the 10th Circuit Court, which is one court before the Supreme Court. And what they do in the federal courts is they're like, oh, we won't look at it. We won't look at a state court decision. And so the one case I have right now in the 10th Circuit Court, which is one before the Supreme Court, I came back and said, no, you fucking pay, the federal government pays the state judges to steal kids. You're not going to turn around and tell me that you're not going to review my case because it's a custody case and we won't overturn state judges when you're incentivizing state judges to do this. So they come back to us and say, oh, we can't look at it because we can't overturn a state case, right? No, fuck you. Fuck you. You're paying the judges to do it. The federal government is paying the judges to steal children, so you're fucking damn well going to look at my case. You know what I mean? Because that's a financial conflict of interest. You can't pay the state court judges to steal children, and then when we bring the case to you for constitutional violations, say we're not going to look at it because it's a custody case. Fuck you, federal government. You're not going to pay the state to steal children and then say you're not going to review it in your courts. So the reality, though, is the courts are fake, man. And even the Supreme Court. So Supreme equals 34, which is 7, and court equals 23, which is 5. So Supreme Court is 7-5, which is the G and the composite square, right? And then 7 equals 20 and 5 equals 24. So Supreme Court is really 44, which is genocide. And Supreme itself, 34 equals murder. Abracadabra equals 34. Abracadabra means murder. So if you remember during COVID, Elon Musk bought Twitter, right? Mm-hmm. Twitter equals 34. Google equals 34 because that's abracadabra. That's murder. Murder equals 34. So he bought Twitter for 34, which is murder. And how much did he pay for Twitter? 44, right? 44 billion. So the whole time during COVID, the Twitter deal was really just murder, genocide, murder, genocide, 34 murder, 44 genocide. That's what the Twitter deal was all about. It was just advertising for the genocide. So now you see why they don't like me, because I cracked their stupid fucking third grade number code, and it's just basic math. Nothing esoteric at all. It's just this word equals that word, So that's where we're at, people. And this is a golden opportunity. I know it all sounds kind of depressing, but it's not, man. This is happening. They're fucked. They 109 times in history, they've been piled up in bonfires. Get the kerosene and light that motherfucker on fire. They're demons. They're possessed. All you can do is burn them.
What's gonna be the change?
What's going to happen going forward is everything they do will be. They can't get away with anything anymore. So, like for instance, it kind of started last year when that tunnel caved in between the Chabad Temple and the Children's Museum in New York. And then 3 days later, they filled it with cement. And then the Charlie Kirk thing got totally exposed with the 33s. And now it's been exposed that Erica Kirk, her mom is a big military contractor, and that she's a Mossad agent to traffic children through Trump's beauty pageants is how she got started. And now she just got appointed as on the board of visitors for the Colorado Air Force Academy, right? Which is something strange there. I think it has to do with Project Bluebeam, but the Air Force Academy actually has a satanic altar. It's called Falcon Circle. So perfect place for her. And then they did the Bondi Beach that got exposed. And now, the Epstein stuff's completely exposed. And now, this war is being exposed, that we had Mexico burn the Statue of Baal, and now we had Iran burn the Statue of Baal. And so everybody's waking up that what I've been saying for 19 years is this is the satanic occult of Baal. This is the same guys in the Bible, man, the people that sacrifice children. When they take a baby and sit him on that red hot iron of Baal and burn him, and they do that on Christmas, right? On the winter solstice. It's the exact same thing of when you take your child and put him on Santa's lap, right? Santa equals Satan. You mix the letters around. That's what Santa Claus is. When you put your child on Santa Claus's lap, it's the same thing as putting the child on that burning red hot effigy of Baal and sizzling it to death. It's the same thing. It's a sacrifice to Baal. You're giving your child to Satan when you sit him on Santa's lap. So,
wow. No wonder some kids are so terrified of Santa Claus.
Lots of kids are terrified of Santa Claus, man. So, what I was terrified of when I was little and I still don't like is firemen. They always freak me out. Wow. And I think it's so ironic that the occult, they have EMTs and firemen and all these people to save you, and yay for the fucking first responders and all that shit. When the reality is they're the ones that did COVID. So you bump your car into a fucking trash can and they'll come, give a Band-Aid on your face. But then you go home and they're going to force you to take the vaccine and fucking die. So it's everything they do is a lie. And that's the thing too. I always laugh at the word perjury, man. It's not perjury. You're a fucking liar, man, is what it is. It's not perjury. Perjury, they're like, oh, it has to be an official thing and you have to be an official document. It has to be. No, fuck you. You're a liar. You're just a liar. It's not fucking perjury. You're a fucking liar. That's what we do. That's what the Full Disclosure Act is all about. We just call it like it is, man. We're not sugarcoating it. It's the Freemasons, and it's the Freemasons, and it's the Freemasons, and then it's the Freemasons. It's not the Jews. It's not the Jesuits. All of those organizations were created by the Freemasons. The Freemasons created Christianity. The Freemasons created Judaism. The Freemasons created the Jesuits. They created all of it. Freemasons did all of it. Like, for instance, when Martin Luther posted his theses on the church door, right, because they were selling indulgences, How many theses did Martin Luther post on the church door? 95, right? 95 theses, square and compass. And so, basically we're waking up, and that's what's most important. So just spread the word, sign the Full Disclosure Act. And then also the other thing going really good, guys, is Lethal 22. This is the clothing company I came out with. And this is one of our top products. And I just came up with all these fucking silly, stupid shirts just to make fun of the occult. And they're selling pretty good all over the world, man. I was looking at my Google Analytics, and the Full Disclosure Act's been translated into like 11 different languages.
Wow.
We get people all over the world. Germany, India. India's huge on us.
Really?
Yeah, India's big time. Because they know this is all a spiritual battle. And so, it's happening, man. People are winning. We're winning. And the reality is we just need to keep exposing. So when you promote the Full Disclosure Act, we're not trying to find truthers. It's great if we do, but what we're really trying to do is aggravate the occult, right? For about every 1,000 people that see my videos, then about one person will sign the Full Disclosure Act. But I don't care about the one person that signs the Full Disclosure Act. I think it's great. What I care about is the 999 people that saw this and they know they're fucked, right? It's just a mind game. We just need to continue to aggravate them, and they'll continue to make mistakes. And what's coming pretty soon is they're going to do something huge and something stupid, and it's going to be so obvious that they're just done. They can't really do with anything anymore. Anytime anything happens the next morning, you guys know, you watch social media. Something happens the next morning, the speakers just tore it to pieces. So that's where we're at, and that's where I'm at. That's what I'm doing. And
what's the change going to look like?
It's probably going to look like people ripping people out of their front homes and hanging them in the front yard with a fucking garden hose. It's probably what it's going to look like. That's usually
that's serious, huh?
That's usually what happens once people really realize what's going on. At least history shows they just rip them out of their house, put them in a bonfire of kerosene, and light the thing on fucking fire. I mean, that's what history has done. We'll see what happens next time, or they get exiled, or they executed, or whatever. I don't know what it's going to look like, but I do know what their game plan is, and that is they're going to zap us all. They're going to do the Project Bluebeam. They're going to have the stealth bombers with dew weapons on them, and then they're going to use Starlink, which is the SpaceX program. Starlink. They're going to cloak the B-2 bombers with the dew weapons on them to look like alien spacecraft, and they're just going to fucking zap everything. And it's the same thing they do with Tartaria, but in Tartaria, they use the big airships with the skin pulling all that free energy. And we have all these pictures and etchings of the airships with these dew weapons. And that's how, they just fucking melted everything. So that's what they're going to do again. They're going to zap us to death unless we stop it. And they already did it to Maui and Texas and Oklahoma. They just did a couple weeks ago, and El Salvador. And that's what they're going to do.
California.
Paradise, California. Yeah. They're just going to zap everything. And so, this is not a matter of whether you want to get involved and do something or not. It's like, you better fucking get busy. And the good thing, the Full Disclosure Act, I've been trying this for 15 years. I know you've been doing it for a long time. You just can't get people to organize or do anything. So they just won't. But this is the first thing that's ever worked, is the Full Disclosure Act. Like I said, we're getting 50 to 150 people a day and donating money, buying shirts, this is what's most important, is getting this shit into reality, right? When you wear this, most of the people, 80% of the people you walk by are going to be in the occult, and they're going to see this. Or we have a bunch of other cool shirts. I have one where they're like the tongue and the horns and the six. Right. I had like little kid shirts doing the 6-7, and I'm just trying to make a mockery of it, because if you look at the Freemasons, man, they're fucking, most of them are dorks, man. They're big, fat, perverted, bald, out of shape, fucking dorks, and they're giving each other all these stupid fucking medals, and go fuck yourself, man. You're a dork. Let's race dirt bikes and see how fucking good you do, you fat Freemason fuck.
The ones that weren't very popular in school.
Exactly. The doofuses.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they're not the real, the problem is that they protect the occult that's around you, your friends and family and stuff like that. And so, this is a litmus test, man. Send your friends or family to the Full Disclosure Act and watch them say something stupid, and you'll automatically know that they're in the occult. Get yourself a hat like this and wear that around your friends and family, or go shopping. Going shopping with it's a trip, man. They look at what happens is that they'll look at you and then they won't look back. I've had people crash into the fucking aisles. So I'll walk in with this hat and like one of my stupid shirts, and they'll see me, and they like their fucking head got super glued to the ground. They won't look twice. They will not fucking look back at me twice. Wow. They'll see it and they'll just turn. And I've had like people crash in the aisles and just, it's the weirdest thing, man. They just won't fucking look at you twice. Wow. Because they know, man. They've never, their whole lives, they've been in this cult bullshitting people. And now here it comes. Here's clothing on the street. Here's, like when I go in to talk to these legislators, I know that every single one of them is in the occult. I know they're not going to pass anything. But I go in there in my 3-piece suit and just say, it's coming. It's coming. It's funny. So the state capitol in Colorado, which is an old Tartarian building, every single doorknob, every fucking doorknob is the Eye of Providence. Right?
No way.
Yeah. So I was talking with these 4 senators, and I was handing out cards, and we were outside just casually talking before we were going into this meeting. And I'm like, you guys are going to have to buy a lot of fucking doorknobs. Just make a fun of it, guys. They've been.
What's up with Colorado?
Colorado's pure wicked evil, man. Pure wicked evil. Child trafficking, and the I-70, which cuts through the Rocky Mountains, that's like the number one child trafficking, drug trafficking thoroughfare in the whole country.
Wow.
So our sheriff, the sheriff that tried to fucking kill me and still trying to kill me, he pulled over a lady with 50 pounds of fentanyl and cocaine like 3 years ago, and she was out of jail the next day. And you know how many people probably died from that? Like the fentanyl, they're the ones that brought the Freemasons brought the fentanyl in to kill people. It's the same thing they did, way back in China 100 years ago with opium wars.
Right?
Same thing. And
Vietnam with the heroin.
Yeah, all that stuff. So just be positive, be pumped, and we just move forward and expose them. That's all we have to do is expose them and have fun doing it. Like it's a simple question. You live in a democracy or constitutional republic, which is supposedly a free country. Why do we have fraternal order of police? Why is there a secret police department in our police department? You know what I mean? What is this, fucking communist Russia? Is it East Germany? Is this the Stasi? Stasi, by the way, equals 14, which is 5. Because it is the Stasi. And if you understand how the Stasi worked, it wasn't just that the secret police were corrupt and the judges were corrupt like we have. But the Stasi in East Berlin at the height had 300,000 citizens that reported to the Stasi. And that's what we have now, people. The cops and the courts, yes, they are the Stasi. But it's your next door neighbor, your friends, your family, the school teacher. It's everybody else that's the fucking big problem. So it's wild stuff, man. So that's what we're doing. That's what we're up to. I'm glad, to be on your show. And I hope people watch it and see it. I don't know if you post this so they can watch it later, but
oh yeah,
we better get fucking busy, people. They're not fucking around. This is not a world war. This is genocide. Their goal is 500,000 people by 2030, which is only 3.5 years away. 500,000
or 500 million?
500 million.
Okay. Yeah. You had me worried there. I was like, damn, I might not make that cut.
Yeah. None of us are going to make the cut, people. And that's the Georgia Guidestones, right? And Georgia Guidestones, who built it? They're like, oh, we don't know who built it. It's this guy, R.C. Christian, right? Who paid for it. R.C. Christian is 59, which is compass and square, which is helter skelter. Helter equals 32, which is 5, and skelter equals 27, which is 9. And that's what they used to do. They would just pick a night and they would kill everybody on that night. That'd be called helter skelter. That's what Charles Manson was trying to get started by murdering Tate. And that's what the Beatles were singing about, helter skelter.
Like the movie Purge.
Mm-hmm. The occult just kills everyone. That's what COVID-19 was. Anybody you know that told you to get vaccinated was committing helter-skelter.
Yeah, I just watched a video that Ed Group put out, and had some woman on there in you couldn't tell who she was, voice disguised, breaking down what the actual vaccine did to you, and then what the boosters did one after another one. And
Yeah.
listen to that is terrifying.
And the thing is, most of that stuff is misinformation. Here's the deal, guys. The vaccine, they did the math on it. It would take like 13 years to make that many vaccines, right? And the reality is, there's no mRNA, there's no spike protein, there's no nanoparticulate, there's nothing in there. All it is nanoparticulate graphene oxide. It's cheap graphene hydroxide. And what that is, it's 1 nanometer thick and it's 50 nanometers long. So it's a nanoscale razor blade that's as tough as brake pads, that you can't even see it with an electron microscope. You have to test the electrical impedance of the vaccine. And so that's why in 2020, if you look at these cards I handed out to the police and everybody, look at this card. See, I had graphene. I knew in 2019 that there was graphene in the vaccine. And then the 5G, because graphene is magnetic, right? It doesn't take much EMF to make that start clumping, to one little razor blade into a bunch of razor blades. And then the genius part about it is if it gets shot into your muscle, it takes years for it to make its way from the muscle into your bloodstream. But once it gets into your bloodstream, the razor blades start slicing up your epithelial cells. There are these very smooth cells inside of your blood cells, inside of your arteries. And then all that scar tissue is white blood cells, which have your hemoglobin, which have iron in them. So the iron in their white blood cells starts bonding with the magnetically bonding, right? Nothing special, just magnets. The hemoglobin iron bonds with the nanoparticulate graphene oxide, and then it starts making bigger clumps. And then that's why people have all these brain clots and stuff. And when you see in the movie Died Settling, they're pulling those big rubber bands out of people. That's basically just white blood cells all magnetically held together. And that's what's killing everybody. And there's nothing you can do. Nothing you can do to get it out. You're fucked. You're dead. And I think like 300 million or 400 million people have died so far from it.
A lot. They're dying faster. You look at all these celebrities are dying off, musicians, athletes, that had to get vaccinated to go on tour and all that bullshit.
I have 4 clients. I don't have that many clients. I got 4 right now that are dying from it.
Yeah.
It was a genius genocide. So, these people aren't fucking around. They built 9/11, the Twin Towers, right? In 1968, they started building the North Tower. That's the same year that they made 9/11 the emergency number. Because 9 in numerology means to end, and 11 is really 2, which is awake. So it means in the awakening. Or backwards, it's 119, which is 95. Or you throw the 9 out, and it's 1616, which is 32, which is 5. So they've known we were waking up for a long time. They did Project Looking Glass, and every scenario they've done, they know they lose. There's no way they can win. You can't put the Epstein thing back in the bag. That cat's not going back in the bag ever. They can start all the wars, financial crashes. They can do whatever they want. It's not going back in the bag. Wow. It's over for them, So it's just a matter of time that something happens. Obviously the Epstein thing's big, but something more is going to come. You watch. As a matter of fact, they just caught. They just saved 37 children today. They just caught some more. So it's happening, and. There's also a theory that I have that, like the way I learned this number language and got grandma's books, and my grandfather was a Shriner, and he gave me this.
It's 6:04. It's 6:04 p.m.
Talking numbers from Grandpa, who was a Shriner, and then his wife, who was an Eastern Star. I got the numerology books. I think that my Mason family knew that there was something special about me, and it's no coincidence that I learned all this stuff. And so my hope is at the highest level of the priesthood, it got to the point where there's too many people in the secret societies. There's too many evil people, right? So they did COVID-19. Now all of those people, your next door neighbor and the soccer coach, They're all guilty of genocide. So they could legally just round up the entire occult, right, and execute them for genocide. So I think there's a slight chance that at the highest level of the priesthood, that this is just a plan to get rid of all the evil people. Because you can't have, if you wanted to live with 500 million people in balance with the earth, which is what they want, according to Georgia Guidestones, then you would have to have 500 million people that want to live in balance with the earth, right? You can't have 500 pedophile people who want yachts and jets.
Yeah.
You need 500 million people like me and you who are willing to go live in a teepee, a teepee with a good chick and a canoe and be okay. I'm cool with this. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's the only way you could get back in balance with the earth. So I have a real hope that, and Donald Trump might be the guy because he's such a fucking egomaniac. He might be like Hitler. Like Hitler was a Rothschild. He was put in place by the Rothschilds, but he turned on Russia. And Russia was his ally. They started the war. It was Russia and Germany who decided they were going to split Poland and start World War II. So, Trump's just enough of an egomaniac. And I'm not counting on this. I give it like a 1% chance or less. But he's enough of an egomaniac to turn into a Hitler and really save the world. He just might because he's that fucking egomaniacal like Hitler was. Only problem, thus far, Trump's just a big, Jewish kiss ass. And but ultimately, at the highest level of priesthood, if I was looking at this situation where everybody and his brother's in the occult and they're all evil as hell, you might be saying, well, maybe they released the Epstein files on purpose, because there's that rumor that they're like, we can't tell people because people won't believe it. We have to show people, right? And so maybe they're letting this stuff happen on purpose and letting people wake up because you and I have been screaming it for 20 years and people don't listen. But now people are starting to go, oh, my God, they really do drink kids' blood. Oh, my God, they really do pray to Baal,
Have you ever read David Icke's The Biggest Secret?
I think he's controlled opposition because he's always doing this lizard alien stuff. But, I haven't read his book. What's the premise on that book?
That's where he puts the whole line together from the original family, which I believe was it's been 2 decades since I read it. The Coin family, I believe, which is now, I think, the Rothschilds. But he went through all the symbology, the Masons, numerology, all the way up to the royal family being reptilian shapeshifters that drank blood and ate babies. And that's where he lost me. But that was 2 decades ago. Now I'm like, oh, boy, this boy was on top of his game back then. So, yeah. It's a very interesting book.
It's coming out, and the guys like Alex Jones and all that stuff. It's possible, at least I hope, that at the highest level of the priesthood, they're like, fuck, we got to get rid of all these evil people. It's out of control. As a matter of fact, there's this girl's son, and she's this young girl that lives in Germany, and she can see these demons. And Kilner said that too. He said, you don't need those goggles to filter out the light. He's like, you can train your eyes. But she actually was walking home and almost got raped, and a demon came into her and saved her and walked her home. She said she felt like Rambo. And then she's like, oh, I got to go pee. You got to get out of me. He's like, no, I'm not getting out. She's like, get out of me. I got to pee. And so she sees these demons and talks to them. And she said that in the demon realm, like, I believe that they're not supposed to be in our realm. But she thinks that this is like the ocean. The demons are just the sharks, and we're all in the ocean together. But what she said to me was interesting. First of all, 2 years ago, she told me that Israel is going to get turned to glass, right? Which looks like it's about to happen. But she also said that the highest level demons are so disgusted that the lower level demons, the younger ones, are so fucking evil that even the higher level demons are like, we got to stop this. This is going to destroy all of creation.
It's going to take our playground away.
Yeah, she's like even the highest level demons are like, no, this has gone too far, and that's what she says is happening in the spiritual realm, and I think that's where we are on Earth, So it's gone too far. Our police are corrupt, our judges are corrupt, our schools are horrible, our medicine's horrible, the money system, fuck man, we pay like 40. if you add up all the taxes you pay, you're probably at like 60% taxes or more on everything, on your gas, food tax, road tax, fucking part,
Sales tax.
and then that's not even counting the inflation, right? Because all the courts are writing bonds, and Wall Street's writing bonds. That's where all this inflation comes from. So that's another tax. So we're really probably at like 80% tax. We're about where they threw the fucking tea off of the ships in Boston, And so, but the way I see it, like from what I've learned going through the court system in the past 3 years, it's so corrupt. It's not like, just don't even bother filing any cases, people. There's no chance of winning at all. As a matter of fact, when you file a civil rights case, a 1983 civil rights case, they immediately code it civil rights 440, right? 44 genocide, which is 8, which is infinity, which is God, which is you lose, right? When you file it, it's just a matter. They're just going to drag it out, waste your time, send shit back and forth, make you think something's happening, and then they're just going to say dismissed. I've never heard of anybody winning a civil rights lawsuit. Have you? I've never heard of a winner.
David Ruiz.
He won one?
Ruiz versus Estelle. It changed the entire Texas penal system. It was under Special Master William Wayne Justice, U.S. Western District Judge. His entire career was dedicated to that case. David Ruiz was a prisoner. They did everything to that guy. He wrote part of the writ on toilet paper. Absolutely. That's how, they were suppressing him. But yeah, it changed the whole way the system. Before he filed that lawsuit, they had building tenders and turnkeys. Building tenders were like the dorm or cell block enforcers, inmate enforcers. They ran everything. They ran the stores. They ran the human trafficking. They ran the drugs. They ran the tobacco. They ran everything. Turnkeys were the ones who actually had the key that let you off the dorm or out of the cell block or through the crash gates in the hall. So if there's 6 crash gates, you got to get through. You calm down.
Whoopee.
Yeah.
So he won that case.
Anyways,
I don't like to talk about
prison.
Yeah. I don't like it in my brain. Anyhow, that's all I've got to say.
Okay.
I wish you all well, and good to talk to you and see you again. I don't know if you've still work. Have you seen? Are you still working shows? Have you been to any good shows lately?
I had a concert last night I was supposed to go to. I've been packing and moving all week, so I'm fried. I've got Gogol Badero tomorrow. You familiar with that band?
Mm-mm.
They're like a world funk band, kind of.
Cool.
So, yeah, if I have enough energy, I'll go check them out tomorrow night. Other than that, no, I haven't been to any other shows.
Are you working shows anymore, or are you done doing that?
We don't do concerts. The union gave those up to a competitor. And they mostly do trade shows, ballet, symphonies, operas, theater, political rallies. We did a deal at the Houston Botanical Gardens. They gave up the concerts.
We gotta get this living right, though.
Right. Cool, man. Well, I appreciate being on your show, and you share it and people see it, and just sign, share, and promote the Full Disclosure Act. Grab a shirt or a hat, because I think getting it into reality is really what I'm trying to do with the hats and shirts and stuff.
Right.
And then it's just fun. It's just get a shirt or a hat and just wear it around and watch people. You can see who the Masons are. They look at you and and then they don't look back.
Are those available at fulldisclosureact.com or lethal 22?
That's lethal22.com. There's a link on fulldisclosureact.com to go to lethal22, or you can just go directly to lethal22.com.
Got it.
And there's a bunch of stuff on there. I keep adding more every time, but some pretty funny stuff, some pretty serious stuff. And it's just awesome to see people all over the world wearing it, Australia, right. A lot of people in Canada, in America, obviously a ton of people here, but this is how we win, man. We just gotta aggravate and expose the occult. Let them know, hey, this is the awakening. They've known their whole lives. If you're in the occult, think about it. That's probably the most paranoid thing you're afraid of your whole life, right? Is that people wake up, people learn what's really going on.
Yep.
And so that's all we do is just point the fact, hey, man, we know it's the Freemasons. We know that you're all occult. We know that all the police are occult. We know all the judges are occult. All your politicians are occult. You're not fooling anybody anymore. And so, and then, they will fall apart. Satan, there's no honor amongst thieves. Satan's kingdom, the Bible says, man, Satan's kingdom divides and falls. It doesn't say a bunch of good people get together like Samson and Goliath and take over. No, it says Satan's kingdom divides and falls. That how can a house stand divided against itself, right?
Right.
And so that's all we're trying to do, man, is just aggravate them. If I educate people along the way, that's great. But my stuff is not really made when I ramble all these numbers. I'm not trying to teach you guys numbers. I'm just trying to aggravate any Freemasons that see this. You know what I mean? So they're like, oh shit, somebody did crack our code. That's right. The point. And so that's the goal, man. Just if you can educate the ignorant, that's great. But I have more fun aggravating the evil.
That sounds easier.
Aggravating evil is way easier.
I mean, way easier.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm gonna see about getting you back on next week if we can.
Yeah.
If I got time.
Yeah, do that, man. And
okay.
I appreciate you, and God bless you, and take care of yourself. And thank you for having me on.
Thank you, man. Daryl invited me to come up to Colorado, so if I get up that way, I'll come hang out with you.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. I live in paradise, man. Other than the sheriff trying to kill me, it's awesome. But guess what, guys? All the sheriffs are trying to kill us all. That's what sheriff is. It adds up to 44. A sheriff's job, the police job, is to eliminate you. The occult invented the police. The cult invented the courts.
Yep.
So, all right, my guys. Peace and thank you.
All right, brother. Thank you, Steve. Have a good night. God bless you too, brother. There you have it. Stephen Gladstone, Secret Society by the Number. So I want to thank him for asking me to come on the show. That's often rare. Usually I'm out the one soliciting for guests, but thank you, Stephen, for coming on and sharing that and filling me with some information. Hang on, I'm live. I'm almost off. Announcement. The LeFlore On Trust book and the Specialty Trust book. Those two books will be discontinued. They will no longer be available on Amazon. They will be available on thefearlessfloydshow.com until the actual physical copies are depleted. After that, the ebook and the physical softcover book will no longer be for sale. They will all be individualized. You'll be able to pick up those 7 trusts in the On Trust separately, and I believe it's 17 trusts in the Specialty Trust. Those will all be developed into books as well. So we're breaking it down for you, and instead of giving you overload, you can pick out exactly what you want. So stay tuned for that. There's a new March sale going on thefearlessfloydshow.com and has set up. So if you guys want to go over there and check that out, you can. I'm still doing a silver dollar for a book. I still have a few books left. So if you want to pick one of those up, just hit me up. All the information's on the website, thefearlessfloydshow.com. If you need to reach me, thefearlessfloydshow@yahoo.com. You all know my number. Call me. Works 9 to 9 Central Time. I will get with Kurt Riggins. We're supposed to do a Right to Travel show this week, but he ran into a little bit of ill health, and he's been down. So I need to reach out to him tomorrow, figure out when I can get him on, and we can have that show about Right to Travel. Thank you, everybody, for watching. I hope you have a safe, happy, and joyous weekend, and God bless you. Thank you for coming over here and spending your time, money, and energy with me and Stephen. Y'all have a good night. Sasha, come here.